Hello. After having talked about Noam Chomsky, today I want to talk about Leonard Bloomfield. In fact, he was the leader of American structural linguistics before Chomsky. From his name, we can deduce that he is from Germanic origin, Bloom meaning flower. He was born in Chicago in 1887 and studied and taught and worked at many eminent universities like Harvard, Wisconsin, Chicago, Yale, etc. At first he started his career as a philologist, that is, someone interested in the evolution of Indo-European languages, their sound shifts and changes, something like the work of the other German scholar, Grimm. He was essentially concerned with German. So he was historical and philological. And then he moved to strict scientific approach based on empirical methods and behavioral psychology. He studied the Malay languages of the southeast, and then he moved to the North American Indian languages. And for him, linguistics to be scientific, it has to study the structure of language, independent of any context or any other considerations. When his empirical approach to the linguistic data led him to consider the phoneme, that is the minimal sound that makes sense in a language, like in the contrast between w and b, although the two sounds are labial, but one is rounded, w and b is a stop. They make for you two distinct words, water, butter, or again, the difference between bit and pit. Both b and p are labial, but one of them is voiced, and this helps you distinguish these two words, bit from pit. And from the phoneme, which is the smallest unit of language, you can build words. And for him, words are called forms. Some forms are free and some are bound. So, for instance, if you say boyish, boy is free, but ish has to attach to something, so it's called a bound form, whereas boy is a free form. Another example, door, knobs. Here you have two free forms, door and knobs, and you combine them and they give you doorknobs. Houses, cats, dogs. It's raining cats and dogs. The Houses of Parliament. So this S of plural is a bound form. It has to attach to something. As far as syntax is concerned, he suggested the ICA, immediate constituent analysis, which moves from the smallest unit, the phoneme, to the morpheme, to the word, to the phrase, to the sentence. So this is the immediate constituent analysis. As far as semantics is concerned, there is a problem, because to deal with meaning scientifically and strictly observational, objective is sometimes not possible. But the closest to the scientific approach is a story he narrates for us. It's called the story of Jack and Jill. Well, Jack and Jill were walking in a garden. Jill saw an apple in the tree. She uttered the word apple, and Jack climbed the tree and brought her the apple. She ate it and she was satisfied, no more hunger. So this is based on behavioral psychology, stimulus and response. The word apple triggered some mental reaction in Jack's mind, and he moved up the tree and brought her the apple. So this is Jack and Jill and behaviorist philosophy. One final anecdote is what happened to Mr. Bloomfield when he visited London. So he took a taxi and asked him, to drive him to the comedy theater. And the English driver couldn't understand, because there is no car, that is motor car, modi, a theater. In fact, Bloomfield forgot himself and spoke in the American accent to an English-speaking British English. For the difference between these two varieties of English, I invite you to read this book called English, American English People Language, that was kindly offered to me by Mrs. Antje Strubent. Thank you so much. I'll see you with the next